Bomba-dee-da, 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 bomba-dee-da,
Hey, welcome to Happy Trails,
Happy
everybody.
trails,
How we doing
everybody.
today? How we doing?
What's up out there?
What's up? What's up? We're getting ready to
How?
roll.
Hey, you know what? How are we doing?
How are we doing?
How we doing?
We're doing good.
How we doing?
It's like springtime in Iowa. It's
Yeah.
March. It's March now, so that means spring. Spring.
Spring is sprung.
Spring is sprung.
I don't
Yep.
think it's sprung here. It's 39 and raining.
Oh, well, you need rain. We need rain. Send it our way.
I heard that rain makes corn.
Corn makes
whiskey.
Yeah.
And
you know what, though?
whiskey,
She makes my baby.
she makes my baby just feel a little bit frisky.
That's a quote from a very important person.
Yes.
That's yeah.
I think that came from Congress somewhere like way back. And
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln time. I think it was
that
him.
it?
Yeah, because he was from Illinois, so he knew about corn.
He did. You
Yeah.
know what? He did.
Because they grow a lot of corn in Illinois, and that's yeah. So I'm sure Abe came up with that.
Good old Abe.
He's so honest, that guy.
Abe is what a guy.
Oh man. All right. Well, I hope you guys are all learning lots about real estate, and we're here to teach you more today. And we're here to we're going to talk about the many, let's call it many of the biggest mistakes that people with that have high incomes or high net worths make. And so you may think that somebody has a lot of money, they know what to do with it. Is that true, Matt?
How many people, raise your hand out there if you think that you know a lot of people that know what they're doing with money because you see that they got a lot of money, or you think they got a lot of money.
Right.
The question is, who's got your money?
That is the question. That is the question. And we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna answer that today, but maybe we'll give you.
But isn't that the old adage though? Like the whole deal, Blaine's. Like, is that like the Facebook life? You know what I mean? People live the Facebook life. You're like,
yes.
God, those guys got it. They got it together.
Oh,
or I see that, I see that doctor, that dentist, or that real estate guy. Damn, he's driving a Ferrari. Like, what the hell? Like, what? He's getting on a private plane. They're flying here and there. What? I want that. What are they doing? Right?
They must know.
They must know
everything about money. Nope.
I don't know.
And here's the thing. We are perfect examples of that's not true.
Boom.
Bam. Mic drop. We can stop the podcast right here.
Boom.
So we're going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes. And have we made them? Yes, I've made some of these. Some of these maybe I haven't, but we'll roll through this and see if we can give you guys some insight on what you're doing and what maybe you should change, what you're not doing.
Sure.
Right on.
First one to consider.
Go for it, Matt.
First one to consider is always thinking that the income that you're currently making will always be there.
Yes.
So true. Yeah. So let's just say, you know what, you're having a great. How many people out there? And because there's a lot of dentists on this, because we're dentists,
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm Matt Bynum. I'm dentist practicing here in Greenville, South Carolina. Actually, Simpsonville. Practicing dentist for going on 30 years with my good friend and cohort,
Dr. Blaine McLaughlin from Iowa, Robbins, Iowa. I practice in Cedar Rapids, and we went to dental school together. Yeah, have been friends ever since, and now we're into real estate because of all the mistakes that we have made. And we decided we're done letting other people make mistakes for us, and if we're going to screw it up, we're going to do it ourselves.
And you know something, just feeding off of that, Blaine, I think if you've got friends out there, those that are listening, if you don't have friends, then we'll be your friend. But, if you don't have friends, you need to get some friends. And I think you need to have some very intimate conversations with friends, because it's something, Blaine, that happened with us. Here we are. We've been friends for 30 years. And one day we're sitting around a living room, probably had too many drinks, finishing up with some nice old fashions or some bourbons or something.
Some of the wine in your cellar.
Yeah, something like that. And then all of a sudden we have this discussion about, hey, what do you think about retirement? And like when are you thinking about retiring? And the looks on everyone's faces turn to like horror. Like, I can't retire.
What?
What do you mean you can't retire? So all these plans, and you find out that your friends are in the same exact boat, doing the same exact things because nobody taught us how to handle money. That's the truth. So
So
here
true.
we are. We're trying to figure out, what does retirement look like? How do we venture through this next 30 years of being alive? 30, 40, maybe. What do you
Yeah,
think?
40 to 50,
Maybe you 40 to 50.
maybe.
Me, maybe 39, something like that. Anyway,
Right?
but the whole thing comes up with, if you're going to sit down and have an honest conversation, you have to be truthful about where you sit financially. That's not easy to have with friends. That's not easy to discuss that, hey, I haven't done much of anything, or I gave my money to somebody and they lost it in the market, or these last three crashes have left me with nothing, or I took a chance on a coffee company and went belly up to the tune of 1.5 million, or things like that.
Whoops. Whoops a daisy. Whoops a daisy, Matt.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
sore subject.
So yeah, I mean, thinking the income will always be there. Now I have, not only dentists, doctors, we're self-employed. We own our own businesses. Obviously, a lot of physicians work for hospitals and stuff like that. But I have a lot of other people that are in engineering, IT, and stuff like that, and make a solid six-figure income. And out of nowhere, they lose their job, and it's just random cuts or whatever. And so there's a lot of unpredictability, when you think about it. And even owning your own business, you don't know. A lot of people will say, "Hey, my business is my retirement." And you know what I thought of the about 4 years ago? I thought, what
What?
if I don't have a business because COVID hit and shut us down? And I'm like, uh, the government said, nope, dental board, nope, you can't work. I'm like,
Yep.
really? I built this business for 25 years, and now at this moment, it's worth zero. I'm like, it just floored me. I'm like, you can't use your business as a retirement. I mean, you can, but you don't know. You don't know.
Let me
And
tell you
so,
something. If people don't understand what happened during COVID, and you still think that you can continue life as you knew it before then you are drastically mistaken, people. You had your livelihood taken away from you, your ability to work and make money stripped away from you, and it's only the beginning of things that potentially could come your way. I mean, this is truth. This is reality. This is politics. It's happening. It's happening around you right now. So, what are other things outside of loss of a job? Because not everybody out there is a dentist, Blaine. So, they got a great six-figure income. They lose a job, something like COVID. What about something like disability? Let's say you get
yeah,
hurt.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And
For
even
us dentists, the worst thing can happen is, we screw up and chop off a finger. Blaine, show them
wait,
your finger.
oh my gosh, for you watching on YouTube, look at my pinky finger. Look at there's writing here.
That's
It's
just so they know it was that one they had to
They're like, I
reattach.
think yeah, they had to reattach this. So
Because
surgery
otherwise
yesterday.
he would have had another thing going off here. He would have had that would have been something.
It would have been something. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, disability is huge, and I have disability insurance. I'm sure you do too, Matt. And the maximum amount of disability that I can get is probably half of what I make.
Yeah.
I mean, so it doesn't even kind of come close to what I'm actually physically bringing in working in dentistry. And so, there's a lot of those mistakes that I look at that thinking the income will always be there. Typically, your income drops about around 50 years old. Then the income drops as you get older, and
Mm.
whether you're taking more time off or whatever. So, yeah, keep that in mind, y'all out there.
Why do you that's a good point. I was reading an article just recently that said that the grind really happens up till about 50, and then from 50 on it kind of slows down. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, I think when I hit 50 my grind turned on. Like,
Well,
because I
you're
saw
different.
that I saw what was happening around me, and realized that, man, we've got to throttle down for the next, let's just say 5 to 10 years, because that's the time that I figure I have in the chair. I've got I probably have another 10 years in me. Do I want to devote 10 more years in the chair to do that? Man, I don't know. Dentistry it's a very lucrative profession. It's been a fantastic profession to grow, make friends, be a part of the community, but it is a taxing profession on your body. There's no doubt about it. And it is one that, can I do it for another 10 years? Probably, but painstakingly so. You know what I mean? So I think
Right.
this is why we ventured off. And, one of the reasons that we got into real estate a few years back was because we saw what was happening in our profession. We saw what was happening with our retirement. We wanted to take control. And one of the things that stays steady in the markets throughout time is real estate. So as we started to dive into this, we saw huge benefits, not only financially, but we saw tax advantages, and we saw investment potential. And these are all the things that people are playing with right now when you talk about multifamily. So I think another thing to be considerate of, Blaine, is as dentists in general, when you're having a good year, like you're like, man, this is amazing. Like, keep this light switch on, right? And as it continues month after month, you think, well, this is my new norm. So now I'm going to change my goals according to what's happening around me to accommodate for that new norm, anticipating that those numbers are going to stay the same. Well, guess what? We have an outside influence called the world and the economy that changes those things. So what happens if you make those goal changes and now all of a sudden the money coming in the door is half per month that it normally is? So again, those are things that we're facing when we are trying to set goals and try to consider, what's the money that's coming in that I can invest? Where am I going to go with it? That kind of thing. Agree?
Oh yeah. You got it. I agree with all that stuff. I agree. It happens to me too. So, um, you know, and as you make that money, another thing to consider is that and I did some of this too, is making things too complex.
Ooh.
Um, yeah,
Who's got your money?
and there's a point in time where I was like, I got to invest in everything because my income's good, and let's get this. And so you put a whole bunch in your 401k because you're told that's the best way to do it, and you're like, okay. And then somebody else has some brilliant ideas out there. You're like, this could really, I'm young, so I can take some risks. So then you maybe you invest in a stock of a IPO type company, and then they fold, right? Or how about a battery pack for your phone? They're gonna build a a thing hooks to your phone. It'll charge your phone, and you invest in that because it's people got it going on, and well, then that goes under. And then so you have money all over the place, and then you don't know where it all is. And so if it gets too complex, it can just be confusing.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good deal at all. Not at all, Blaines. Can't have it too complex. And you're right. I think what happens is, we get a little I don't know, maybe a little cocky,
Yeah.
but not only is it cockiness, I think we also get a little bit of fear going in that as well, where we're like, man, that worked pretty good. So you know what? We got to stockpile more. I got to invest more. Let's go more here. Let's go more here. And all of a sudden you're making decisions that maybe are a little too complex. Maybe the deals you're getting involved in are too complex. Maybe it's time to simplify those things and narrow it down into more of the niche style, so to speak, like multifamily has turned out to be for us. So
Yep.
I think
Sure.
that's an avenue that definitely comes up quite often. I think
Yeah.
another thing is you mentioned it earlier is taking on too much risk.
Yeah, those kind of go hand in hand in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Is
agree.
complex and risk, and that the more complex things are, I think the more risk maybe you're into, and because you just don't understand what you're actually doing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of deals out there that contain a lot of risk, and there's investors out there that are just looking to pop people into it. So again, it's from the basics of getting involved with any kind of investment, any kind of investor that's taking your money and putting it somewhere. What's the number one deal, Blaine?
No, like, and trust.
Know, like, and trust the people that you're jumping into the sack with, because it's a big deal. It's your money. And you've got to trust the people and know who they are because they're taking your money. And, the main objective for that is to grow your money alongside with their money. Of course, it's not just for us, Blaine and I. We don't want to take your money and, just grow it for ourselves because then we lose you.
Yeah,
Our
exactly.
main objective would be to have you join us in every deal that we do because you know that it's been paying off and it's sound. We've done the work, we've done the homework, we've done the planning, we've done all the things that is required of us as general partners to allow you passive investors to make money. And that's really the whole point of why we started Happy Trails.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Help you, help us to help you. Is
Help you,
that
help
right?
me, help you. Help me,
Right.
help. What movie is that from?
A money ball.
Jerry Maguire. What the
Oh, close,
damn?
close,
So close. None of the actors are
close.
in it, but I mean it's close. Yeah. Whatever. Baseball, football, whatever.
Hey, whatever. You ever try to keep up with the Joneses, Matt?
Yeah. And I've
Okay.
I've been the Joneses and I chased the
You kind of
Joneses.
are the Joneses
Definitely
for
not
most of
that.
us. For most of
Definitely
us, you're
not
the
that.
Joneses.
I have chased the Joneses, and you know what? I've done it knowingly, and I've done it unknowingly. Those are
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, unknowingly is so it's like, hey, my income is kind of steady increase. I'll get that little bit nicer car. You know
Yeah.
what? Let's move to a little different house so we can have a little more room. I mean, it'd be nice if we had a little more room. How about maybe a bigger backyard would be cool. Maybe a few trees would be nice in our backyard instead of just a fence in somebody else's backyard. Um, and so slowly but surely you purchase all these things to try to keep up with everybody else. And again, unknowingly, I told myself I wouldn't do that, and I freaking did it anyway, even though I didn't know I was doing it. It just kind of happened, and and then all of a sudden you have all these expenses, and then it's like, wow, you know, my income needs to continue to keep going up, and
Yeah.
so then there's that pressure on that, and then of course you got if you're helping your kids with college, that comes along too, and that's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Whew, we know that.
Those
But
dang kids.
so yeah, that can be a bad mistake to make. And I
Little
yeah.
little bit of a drain. I say knowingly and unknowingly because I do think there comes a time in your life where you have amassed a certain amount of wealth creation and you take it on yourself and are like, you know what? I deserve this. I
Yeah.
worked hard. I want this. I deserve this. I see so and so have it. Why can't I have it? Well, I'm going to be just super candid with you guys, as we always are. You have no idea what Mr. So and so's lifestyle is really like. The Ferrari that pulls in the driveway and the fountain in the front with the water. You could walk in the damn house and there could be zero furniture and you would have no idea. I mean, this is reality for some people is the front means so much. The Facebook life to put out there of what life is like for you may not even be close to what the reality is. And I think when you choose to live your life in a very realistic and transparent fashion, which happens, I think, later. This is where I think you hit that 50-ish spot. You know what I mean? Where the grind is supposed to be turned off. I don't know that the grind turned off for me. I think it, like I said, I think it turned on for me, but I also started doing that grinding for my family and I, not for anything else. And I think the focus becomes very different. That makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Totally.
Totally.
I get you. I get you.
But you're right. The inflation is a crazy thing. I think one of the things that also hits is not having the proper insurance, like we talked about. Disability insurance, or I I, I
I
have
think it's
friends. I have
isn't it like
friends growing
what
up that just go for it.
I say, like a quarter of the population or gets to a point where they're disabled sometime during their working career.
Yeah, you don't want
One
to admit
quarter.
that, but
That's a lot.
that is a lot. That is a lot. But
So
what happens if something catastrophic happens? You pass away, or your spouse, or
yeah,
something like that, or
somebody's got cancer,
or
medical
something
bills.
something happens, there's a car wreck, and now you're being sued for everything that you own and everything that you have, that kind of thing. There is so many things out there that you have to carry with you such liability and such insurance that to protect yourself. This is a extremely litigious society, as everybody knows.
Oh yeah,
Um,
welcome to America.
crazy, crazy. Um, I was thinking as we were over in Budapest, we're doing what's called a stab lab, where you're actually, you're working on each other.
Sounds
Different,
fun.
yeah, different doctors are working on, you're just in this room, kind of, hey, come over here and let me do this on you. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, if that happened in the States, somebody would surely be like, oh, now I can't move my neck. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
gonna sue you. That totally different country. They just don't. I guess they don't have stuff like that. So it was nice to kind of see, but
Well,
I think those are big things. Having
that's
the
why when
proper insurance.
we got trained in dental implant placement years ago, we went to the Dominican, right?
Yes, we
And
did.
we worked in a clinic in the Dominican, which was amazing. The patients were very appreciative of what we were doing. And there wasn't the litigiousness. Is that a word?
It's how,
Down there?
if it's
Litigiousness.
if it's not, let's create one.
Yeah. And
Litigiousness. Use that in a sentence
I just did.
in a different sense.
They don't have the litigiousness down there.
You, hey you don't have the litigiousness to stand next to me. I like it.
Yeah,
I like
you
it.
got so make sure you have that type of insurance too, litigiousness insurance.
Yes, it's a little
Uh,
expensive. A little expensive, but you should
oh
have it for
man.
sure. Yeah, but those are things, I had friends early on, Blaine, and you probably did too, that didn't necessarily even believe in insurance. Like, why would I pay for that? And I'm thinking,
Right.
you pay for that for the what if.
Right.
You don't pay. I understand some of these insurances, disability, malpractice, all this stuff is so expensive. And all you do is you just pay out, you pay out, you pay out. But it's the what if you need it is when it's there. It's not meant to pay out for itself. You hope to God that you pay it your whole life and never need it. Isn't that
Right.
crazy? Is
Exactly.
that crazy?
Yeah. And the insurance company hopes you do that too.
Yeah.
So because they're
Send me
doing
another
pretty
one.
well. So um with if something like this does happen, a lot of people don't plan. They don't plan for issues like this. They don't have estate planning in place,
Mm,
like a will that if you do get disabled or a car wreck or whatever, what if you can't make decisions? What if you can't take care of your kids or whatever? What happens to them? And a lot of people don't make that plan. And this is something that we did a long time ago, and we had I think we were sending our kids to you um, for a while there, Matt. But I think they've aged out of
yeah,
that,
when
so
I
you're
think
off
the
the freaking
same.
hook. You're off.
I think the same. You were getting my kids, and we were getting yours.
Yeah. But
Nope.
anyway, but this is one thing I did do as far as we had it set up in case something tragic did happen. We had a system of where things were going to go, who's going to take care of what, who's making the decisions, and that kind of stuff. And so estate planning is again, it's key. It's hopefully one of those things that you pay a lawyer to write up for you, and you never have to use it.
Yeah. I think along with that is having proper asset protection. That's another one is and what I mean by asset protection is, are your companies that are you're working under, are they stabilized and protective of the nature of the money? Meaning, let's just say that I got into a car wreck and unfortunately somebody had passed away in the car wreck. I would be held liable. They can come after me. They can come after every bit of money. But if my business is separate from that, they can't necessarily come after that because it's protected under a different company.
Right.
There are things also like, and we don't have to get into great detail here, but forming trusts. Those are things that you want to protect your children, yourself, your wife, your spouse, your partner. You want to make sure that you're protecting them with different trust funds, so that way money goes in, that it's not being held up somewhere else, and it goes directly to them as opposed to fighting for it. I would absolutely counsel you to make sure that you speak with the proper attorney to make sure that you have those in place, regardless. with any type of investment that you have. If you have one single investment out there, what happens if, and you need to be protected, and so do the people that are going to be the beneficiaries.
Yeah. Yep. And that's one of those things that you know, a lot of people do in real estate, since we're talking real estate. When they form a company to invest in a syndication, they form an LLC, a
Yep.
corporation. And that way the corporation owns the property. Then if something happens and the somebody trips and falls on your, you know, sidewalk and they sue you because they broke their arm, it's not you they're after, they're coming after your corporation. And that's a whole different level of getting to you. So they
Yeah.
can't do
And
it
that's
as,
super, that's
yep.
super, super important. I mean, I've had crazy stuff like you probably, Blade, at the office. I had a woman one time early on who parked in my parking lot, crossed over the rocks that we have, that because there's a drop in elevation, crossed over the rocks to go to the vet, and she fell. The insurance, my insurance, she sued my insurance, or she sued us because she fell. She wanted her costs taken care of. I'm like, there's no walkway to walk from my parking lot to the vet. You made a mistake. You parked in my parking lot. But the insurance companies, they don't want to fight things like that. They'd rather pay it. So they
But
paid her off, which was incredible.
yeah,
Because
I mean, probably because it cost them less
it
than to
cost them
hire
far
a
less.
lawyer. Then they'd have to hire multiple lawyers to fight it, and that is
Yeah.
expensive.
And we recently had a guy who, the same spot, there's a curb. Now you have to understand there's a curb. The guy drove over the curb.
Oh,
It got
perfect.
his car stuck. Had
Oh,
to have a wrecker come and pull it up. And I was thinking, is this guy going to come after me too? Saying, like, well, it looked like a road. I don't know. He didn't have the yellow signs that say "Do not enter." I mean, I don't know. Is that
huh.
craziness?
That reminds me
Craziness.
of a time back in college when my brother drove up on a tree or a shrub and he got his car stuck on the shrub.
Which brother?
My older brother, Blair.
Ah, Blair. Blair.
Oh,
Blair, if you're
that
listening,
was
which
that was
you should be listening, Blair.
he totally remembers that.
Do you remember that, Blair?
No details. We won't go into any more details, but
No,
man, we had
there's
to get a bunch
no,
of people to push a car off the shrub.
there was no inebriation at all. It's in the middle of Iowa. They stopped.
Oh
All
man.
right. Another thing that comes up is this is a good one, dude. I love
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
This is being too illiquid.
Yes.
How do we invest in properties? How do we invest in real estate? How do we invest in anything? You have to have liquid money to be able to do that. You have to have cash flow.
You have to have
Yeah.
cash that you can get to
Yep. You
when
have
you
to have
need
cash
to.
you can get to. Here's
Yep.
the issue, and this goes along with the kind of the hastiness that we mentioned up in number 2 or number 3, is you get so excited you want to continue to just put stuff into investments. Once you get started in this stuff, it's like, ooh man, this is going to be great return. I need to put some money here. I need to put some money here. I need to put some money here. Well, next thing you know, you don't have any money.
Yeah.
So, and what happens, God forbid, if you need an emergency fund? What happens? Do you have any liquid money that you can access? And I think people get way too excited with this investment game, and they get in haste and they throw stuff around and they become too illiquid. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. It's easy to do. Again, getting too excited and putting your money in things, you can put it in a 401k, but can you get to it? Well, you can. There's a huge penalty if you take it out, right? And
Ah,
so,
yes,
I mean,
there
it's
is.
kind of liquid, but
Not
there's
really.
some, and most of these in real estates are illiquid. And I mean, we talk about that a lot too. Your money's tied up.
Yeah.
So, it's still your money, but it's not like, hey, I need this back, guys.
That's
Oh,
like,
great.
whenever we've talked about the investing in any of the multifamily stuff too, we've mentioned that you have to be in this for the long haul, right?
Right.
This is not a fly by night, put my stuff in. Hey, you know what? I've been in this apartment thing for 2 years. I really need that money back. Well, that's not the way that this works. You have to consider this investment that you're making as money that you just don't have at this point. And everything that comes to you in return is a bonus. So I think any type of investing or in spending has to be seen something like that. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's another one?
Um, you know, it basically thinking you can do everything. yourself.
Mm, mm,
Um,
everything. I can do it all.
I can do it all.
I am my brother's keeper.
Is that from Moneyball? Or
No.
is that Jerry
You want me to
Maguire?
give you a line from Moneyball just so you can like use it? Like, really?
uh, okay. So, we all have talents, we all have skills. Where is your talent and skill best used? And so people will get into doing stuff and they're like, I'm really not good at this, but I have to do it all. So I'm going to spend a lot of time doing something I'm not good at and not efficient at, and that wastes your time. So we talk a lot about the speed of money,
Mm.
right? Who can you leverage in as we get into real estate, we talk about we're tired of the 401k thing and how it's not working for us. It's not helping us build the wealth we need. And so we're going to take it on ourselves, but we're not doing it all. So let's just kind of be clear on that, right? I mean, we have a whole team of people that we are working with that we're learning from, and everybody's got different areas that they're working on in these real estate syndications. And so find out what your skills are and where you're best at, and then use that and leverage other people to help you uh, on the areas that you're not as skilled.
That sounds like syndicating to me.
It does. And that's why it's called a syndication.
Syndications. Is that spelled S-I-N?
It's S-Y-N.
Syndications? Gotcha.
S-Y-N.
Gotcha. Now I get it.
Litigiousness.
Litigiousness, societal
The word of the day.
litigiousness.
Who's got your litigiousness?
Yeah. I'm gonna think about that all day.
I bet you are. I bet you
That's
are.
what I could say. So yeah, I think talking about that one point in particular is knowing your strengths. And that's one of the things that, Blaine and I we do so well. When it comes time to crunch numbers, I give it to Blaine. Blaine's
Yeah.
the number cruncher. He loves to put that stuff in there and look at it. And I'm kind of like, Blaine, what does that number mean to me? She's like, where does it go? He tells me, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. In my head, I had roughly that this is going to be this. Okay. I like that. I like that. But he's crunching the numbers using the programs that we have through the Sumrock organization, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The analyzer.
Yes. Yes.
That thing's pretty tight though. I mean, I don't know. You got to come up with, there's some smart people that came up with things with a lot more than I'll ever
Right.
come up with for sure.
And that the analyzer that we used, 10 or 15 podcasts ago that we showed you a deal on. I mean, I could spend how much time would I spend putting that together? It would take me years to build something like that because I'd have to learn how to do it.
You
And
got
that would
it.
take a long time. And then putting it all together in one spreadsheet would just be a nightmare. And so that's, or I can use Brad's because we're mentoring students. And so, that's just part of it. And that makes it so much easier. That's a great example of leveraging other people that are good at things that you're
Speaking
not.
of Brad's, I gotta say we have a course coming up, and any of our listeners and people, if you'd like to join us, we will be at the Rat Race to Retirement put on by Brad Sumrock. And the dates, let's see, I have the dates.
April 26th, April 27th, and April 28th.
There you go, of
It's
this year. Catch
Friday,
Blaine and I
Saturday,
there.
Sunday down in Dallas.
Be a great information exchange. There will be no litigiousness out there at that particular time, but will be worth spending some time with us and just spending some time learning.
Yeah.
And networking would be a great way to go. So
This is the class we took a couple years ago that really that turned our lives around.
This really was
Turned
the
them around.
catalyst.
Changed the direction of our lives. Maybe that's a better way of saying that.
Change the course.
Change the course of our histories.
Of
our epicnesses.
Change. That is not a word. Do not say that. I'm not going for that one.
Oh,
But
right
yeah,
on.
for sure. Hey, it would be great to have y'all join us. And as always, we got anything else, Blaine?
That I think those are it. Those are some areas that common mistakes, and like I said, we made a bunch of them for people who have high income or high net worth. So
Yeah.
you can learn from that, and you know
I
Make your
think if there's
epicness
if there's
better.
anyone out there that is itching to invest some money and you're making it and you got a lot of it, call Blaine and I. Let's jump into a deal. That's
We'll help you.
if you're really itching, let's make that happen. We've got a few things in the works. Excited to share some things coming up with you guys in the next few weeks. And if so, then we'll put that through the test and through the Sumrock system and the analyzer and see if those are things that are appealing to anybody out there that you can jump in and invest with us. So, um, as we say, share podcast. Make sure it's the number one fastest growing podcast out there right now, especially in the multifamily real estate market. Um, I think we grew from 3 to 6. I
Ah,
don't know,
I mean, doubled. That's
doubled
called
like
double.
that, like that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, share it. Continue listening. Like the podcast, and send us questions, guys. Every week we try to come up with some new stuff so we can continue the education process together. But we want to make sure we're attentive to what things are running through your heads as we go through the week. And if we
Right
can
on.
be of help, we want to be of help.
Happy trails, y'all. See you soon.
Happy trails.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and